Hey, what's up guys? So I was gonna do a little thing in my next video about if I could get one like and come up with a little bonus video, but that happened. Thank you guys for all the support. I love it. It is so helpful. So and also, if you have anything that you want me to talk about, throw it down in the comments. Please like, subscribe. I'm gonna be coming out with 2, 3, maybe even 4 videos a week. Just all depends on how much time I have and you know if I can come up with good topic. So, without any further ado, we're going to be talking about the ultimate Bitcoin debate. This video came out about a year ago on Anthony Popoliano's channel, and it's him interviewing this guy. I'll put his name just above here. I've forgotten, and I'll link. Just like this guy is a genius. He knows everything to know about crypto, and he was just tearing down every single argument that there was. So I'm gonna see if I got a bunch of notes here to talk to you guys about. So you should also check out that video. I'm gonna put it in the description. One more thing, if you guys want me to talk about, keep talking about this thing, I got an idea for Ethereum 2.0 that I could come out with. Just, just, just give me a like or say something in the comments, and I can come up with a video on Ethereum 2.0 and why that is going to change the game and why that's going to boost Ethereum up a lot. Okay. So basically, one of his main points is the fact that, so the reason Bitcoin is the one that is going to succeed, and let's not just talk about, okay, let's first cover, cryptocurrencies basically have the ability to replace monetary systems because you can transfer them from border to border without any tariffs or taxes between that. So you could just switch between people instead of having to convert currencies between each other. So that's why businesses are going to use it. That's why businesses are going to use it. So that's why it's going to be just a game changer in that sense. It already has the biggest network effect. Most people use it, right? They got the most miners. They got the most people spending it between, but it's got the most miners. It's got the most people that hold the currency. The currency has the most money into it. So because it has all these factors in it, people are more likely to use it because they believe, because they feel, right? It's really about psychology. People feel that Bitcoin is most secure because this is the most money. So it is the most secure because the most people believe it is secure. A lot of these things it's basically like the reason that you use YouTube or Facebook is because so many people use it. So you make your profile on Facebook because all your friends have it, and you watch videos on YouTube because that's where all the content creators are, and all the content creators are there because all the people watch videos there. So it's this cycle. So people use Bitcoin because people accept Bitcoin. People accept Bitcoin because everybody uses Bitcoin. Obviously, people accept the other cryptocurrencies, but they're going up and down way too much. I'm going to put a little graph up here about the swings of Bitcoin and how it has been decreasing over time. Right, as you can see, like right here, Bitcoin was going up and down, 20% some days, but now, those are rare and rarer events, and now it's going up maybe 5% down, 5% up, 5%. Sure, that's a lot of movement if you compare it to if you compare it to something like oil, but it is compared to other cryptocurrencies. Sure, it's volatile, but you want it to be volatile so that it can go up, so that it can actually achieve a market value, as I put in the description. I'm going to explain this later, but Bitcoin definitely has the potential to hit a market value of $1 million. There is the possibility for it. Yeah, so this network effect and the fact that people can actually use Bitcoin, and the fact that it's not swinging as much because there's so much money in it is a moat that Bitcoin has developed. Right? These are all moats that Bitcoin has developed that other competitors will have to overcome to actually get to it. As third world countries develop more and more, they need payment rail systems, and it doesn't make sense for them to build banks. They're just stupid, right? it doesn't make sense. It's just silly. That's why Square is taking off so much. But it also makes more sense in the fact that instead of having to swap between currencies to buy things from all these countries in this continent, right? In Africa, there's so many countries in that one continent. And it's just really, if you want to buy something from this guy, you got to convert currencies. And then you got to, and then, that costs money. And then it's just like exchange currencies, and you're just like bartering, and it just isn't an effective system. But when you add cryptocurrencies to that, cryptocurrencies make it so you don't need to switch currencies. So the amount of steps that you actually have to take, instead of like this many steps, you just need to transact, which is, the goal is, you're a business, you're always looking for efficiencies. As businesses in these areas take off, they'll be looking for efficiency, and Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. And Bitcoin is the most efficient of the cryptocurrencies. It's the best store of value, so it will grow substantially. And once it hits a certain market value, Bitcoin is going to grow into a store of value. And when it grows into a store of value, this is when the stuff starts happening. Because now, technically, Bitcoin does have a limit to the amount of growth that it can grow per year. And I want you to remember that Bitcoin is not a get rich quick scheme. Again, it's, a 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, all the way up to like 50, 60 years, into entire lives. That's how long Bitcoin is going to take to grow, because the network has to increase for the amount of wealth to be stored in Bitcoin to increase. That's why it dropped when it was at 20, because when it was at 20,000 American, because the network, basically bandwidth, there's a better word for it, but bandwidth wasn't enough to support, right? So this was the bandwidth, and this was Bitcoin. Again, there should be a chart up here. So Bitcoin could not continue growing, because it was going too slow. It was transferring too slowly. No one wanted it, so everybody sold it. Right? But now the bandwidth, if this is 20 grand, the bandwidth is probably about here, right? So it does have that potential to go up, but people are still worried. So it is definitely going to do a couple more bull runs, and as it does these bull runs, it's going to do drops. So you want to watch for that. But the reason it, a little bit of a tangent there, but the reason that Bitcoin is so, but the reason that Bitcoin diversifies your portfolio is because cryptocurrencies are not related to other things. In fact, they're unrelated. Let's say if commodities or real estate or precious metals drops, that won't take down Bitcoin. They're completely different things. In fact, if precious metals and real estate drop, it's very likely that Bitcoin will go up, because typically those things are for wealth storage. Maybe not everybody will, but some people definitely will switch their money to these, because they're getting very close, right? And since Bitcoin is deflationary in nature, very soon its growth in amount of Bitcoins will be so slow that people are going to be like, do I want to keep money in my savings accounts and have a 1.7% inflation per year, or 2% a year, or do I want to buy Bitcoin and have it increase in value by 2% a year just for it being Bitcoin, or 3% a year? At this point, it's probably closer to like 10%, 20% a year. Well, at this point, it's not a guaranteed value, because it is going to go through growing pains. But what's going to happen is soon Bitcoin is going to be just a currency that just steadily can move up and up and up. And since it's deflationary, it doesn't lose its percentage of value. So that's why you should definitely have it in your portfolio, because it is not risky. In fact, it just decreases the risk of your investments. My view of Bitcoin. So I think that Bitcoin is it's going to have this revolutionary thing that real estate is all going to be put into Bitcoin. Well, not all of it, but like right now, a lot of places like Tokyo, Vancouver have all these high net worth individuals who are putting all their money into real estate, artificially raising the price of real estate because it's the only place that they can put their money that makes it so that it can not decrease. Because if they put everything else is too risky, they have too much money. Like if you have 20, 30, 40 billion dollars, even a couple $100 million, it can be very dangerous to put $100 million into something, because you lose 5%, you lose 10%, that's $10 million. That's not a little amount. So very soon, these individuals, once Bitcoin really accelerates to the place it should be, they will put their money from real estate, from gold, into Bitcoin. And the gold market's about, if you include jewelry, it's about $7.3 trillion. I think the real estate market is pretty on par with that as well. Probably not all the real estate, just probably like 30-40%. But just from that, the amount that Bitcoin has the potential to grow is astounding. If you include the $80 trillion of fiat currencies too, and once you have a stable store of value like Bitcoin, why would you keep a fiat currency that loses value every single year? You're going to put it into Bitcoin. Everybody's going to put it into Bitcoin, because the more people that save Bitcoin, the faster that Bitcoin will grow, because more people, because there will be less Bitcoins to spend. It's just like a never-ending cycle of just growth for Bitcoin. So you should put your money in right now. It is nowhere near where it should be. And my honest bullish thoughts for Bitcoin is, I think it's going to hit somewhere around $5 million. So it's going to hit somewhere between $5 million per Bitcoin and like $3 billion per Bitcoin in the next 50 years. I think it's that much, because if you take the 80 trillion from fiat currencies, and I don't think there's any reason anybody's going to want to keep like the US dollar, right? It's just inflating too much. There's no discipline, right? We keep seeing all these countries around the world, just like fiat currencies are dying in these places because there's no discipline. So you take that $80 trillion, 7.3 from gold, about $90 trillion divided by 21 million, works out to about $4.3 million per Bitcoin. I don't think that's unreasonable. I think that's pretty on par. You got to be thinking this is a revolutionary technology. This isn't just like, it's not just like an oil company, or it's not just like 7-Eleven. Its market share, its potential market share is the entire world. It's competition, world governments, currencies. It's decentralized, so you can't squash it. And as long as it keeps surviving, the chances that it's going to survive will go up. So thank you so much for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, hit a like. If I can get 5 likes, I'm going to post an Ethereum 2.0 video, just talking about why I think it is such a good store of value. And I just want to say that I do hold Bitcoin and Ethereum in my investments. Just keep watching the channel. Thank you so much. Have a great